Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and as you can tell by the title, this is another Weight Watchers on a Budget video, and this is for week 3 of 2017. So as I was telling you guys last week, I am still trying to figure out how I want to share this information with you. What I mean is in a way that is interesting to you, and plus in a way that makes it that you find it helpful. So I will be trying out new things every week. Last week I had some pictures up. This week again I will have pictures up, but this time I thought I would show some pictures of the food I ate during the week, and that way it kind of gives you a visual of what you can eat for X amount of money. So those will be coming up throughout this video, and hopefully you like how I'm doing it this week. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to kind of play around with it, and maybe by the middle of the year we'll have a routine down. No, I'm sure I'll have it before then. So this week I felt like went really well. I really didn't have any goals going into the week, except for I did want to try to keep my days under about $15, which again I did not do that because we got takeout on Friday, and then I had lunch out on Friday as well. So I think I'm just what I did this time was I did an average of all the days, and so I will tell you what that average was. I think that maybe instead of saying day by day, because things are going to happen, and yeah, this first month, like I've said before, this first month is kind of to help me kind of set a budget. And actually it's going to be January and February. I'm going to use those months to kind of help me set it, because I already had a lot of food going into the month. Plus when I went monthly grocery shopping the beginning of this month, or actually like December 31st I didn't do very good. I forgot a lot of things, and I did good on the meat. I haven't had to pick up any meat. I have picked up some meat when I've seen it on sale, but that was one thing I did good on. I didn't do very good on the canned food. I have had to pick those up a couple weeks in a row, but I think it's going to take me a few months to get into the rhythm of this monthly grocery shopping, and before I am not having to buy anything but produce, perishable foods throughout the week, or once a week. Now, one of my goals though was to not go to the store during the week, and this is 2 weeks in a row that I have not gone to the store. So that goal has been working, and there was even a point, so I'm looking down because I'm trying to find my notes for you guys. So there was a point where my husband had ran out of a couple things, and so I told him and said, well, since you got off earlier than me, you can just stop by the store and get them on your way home, because it wasn't anything I needed. It was just his Cokes, because he ran out of Cokes. But and I had to, if that's all that he had to get, then he didn't mind stopping and getting them. But see, the thing is, even that type of thing, if I were to stop and get them, I know I would pick up other things. I think there's going to come a point where I'll probably be able to go to the store, but at this point I am restricting myself from doing it during the week unless it's a dire emergency for something. So I did do that goal. That one was now 2 weeks in a row. I have not stopped at the grocery store at all, except for when I've gone to the grocery store on Saturdays. As far as less processed foods, that was also one of my goals. I think I've been doing pretty good on that. I should have checked my grocery haul last week to see if I picked up any processed. One thing that I have still been purchasing, and I purchased again this week, and the first 2 weeks I purchased them because I had coupons for them, and those were the salad kits. The thing is, last week I bought I think 2 because I had coupons for them, and the week before I bought 3 because I had 3 coupons. And I also purchased some romaine lettuce and some iceberg lettuce and chopped them up, and I plan on using those for salads. I just don't do it. The thing is, with those bag salads, they are so convenient, and maybe I just need to work a little bit harder at it. But at this point, since I'm really the only one eating them, occasionally my youngest son, he'll eat salad, but my husband doesn't really eat salad, and my stepson doesn't like it. So it's really only feeding me and then sometimes my son. So I can get 2 or 3 salads out of it. So at this point, I'm just going to continue doing it. And I guess you can consider that it's more of a convenience food, not a processed food. But I really haven't picked up any processed foods. I probably will continue to pick some up. Like, I really like the Sandwich Brothers pita sandwiches, but I do have quite a few in the freezer, so I shouldn't have to buy any till the end of the month. And I think that's what I'm gonna kind of do is when I do my monthly grocery shopping, maybe pick up 3 boxes, and that's all I get for the month. And that's why I did this month, and I haven't gone through them all. So I think that's what I'm gonna kind of do with that type of thing. You know, I haven't bought a lot of the crackers. I've been eating up what I have. I mean, those types of things I do want to have, but I'm just going to be careful on how many I purchase and use up what I have first before I purchase more. Because that's one of the things I found out when I did my inventories. I have 5 boxes of crackers that were unopened and another 2 that were opened. So there's no reason to have that many. So I'm still going through all those. And then my other goal was to see where costs are high and to make adjustments. And so far, the only costs that have been high is when I have gone out to lunch and then I've picked up dinner and brought it home. So for us, we don't eat out. We eat out once a month and as a family, and that's when I get paid at the end of the month. Other than that, I usually do pick up dinner on Fridays, and that is the only kind of fast food convenience food that my family ever has. And I usually typically will pick up, for me, a salad or that type of thing is what I get. And so it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of a treat for the family because that's the only time that we have that. And plus Fridays are so busy for me. It's when I do my meal plan and my grocery list. I check my inventory. I am uploading my video, so it's just really busy, and it's just kind of nice to not have to come home and make dinner. So other than that, so far I'm not seeing a lot of high costs, and I think this has been good though. I think this is still making me aware of what I'm spending. Now when I go to the grocery store, I am a lot more aware of what I'm buying and how much I'm spending, and I am putting things back, I've noticed. I think until, like I said, until I see how much it's costing for things this month and next month, and then from March on, I'll be able to have more of a, kind of more different goals that I'm gonna have, and at that point, I can say, okay, I only wanna spend this much money per meal. Okay, so for those of you who are new, just before I start showing you these numbers, I just want to just remind everybody, and like I said, for anybody who's new, that I am really the main person in the family that eats the Weight Watchers food. My youngest son, who's 17, he also will eat a majority of it. So, and then of course the fruits, vegetables, those kinds of things, those 3 to 4 of us are eating them. So, so it's kind of when I give you these numbers for, like, say, the groceries, those are feeding between 3 to 4 people typically. Like I said, some of the things it's just me, but so when you see the number, it's not just one person that's feeding. That is feeding, like I said, anywhere between 1 to 4 people. But typically, on average, there's at least 2 of us that are eating it. But as far as the meals themselves, what you're seeing is that is a per person price. So that is how much it costs for me to eat that meal for the day. And so if it's a dinner, then you can easily multiply that by however many people in your family, and that would be how much it costs for the dinner for the whole family. Now, when you see that number too, that also is including all the sides and everything as well, not just the main part of the meal. So let's get into the numbers. So total spent on meals this week for week 3 was $61.49. It was a difference of $7.30 from last week, is a decrease of $7.30 from last week. So I thought that was pretty good. The least expensive day was Sunday, and I spent $6.62 on breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. The most expensive day was $16.80, and that was Friday, and that was, again, because those were 2 takeout meals. Well, one was a lunch, and one was a lunch out, and then one was dinner brought home. So I spent an average, though, of $8.78 per day, and that was for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. So that is where I'll probably start setting a goal, is to keep it, maybe just say, well, I'm just gonna see what my averages are for the next month or two, and then I might start setting a goal if I see it going up, or you know, if I can get even lower, you know, that type of thing. So that's probably where my goals will be set. Now for breakfast, total spent on breakfast was $7.31. That was for the entire week for 7 full days. The least expensive breakfast, not counting, there was a day, you'll see on the chart, there was a day that I spent 17 cents on breakfast, and that was just a banana. The weekends I eat really irregularly, and so I'm not counting any days that I just grabbed a banana or I just had coffee. So you'll see a 17-cent day. I don't want to count that day. So the least expensive actual meal was 59 cents. And that was, I had 2 hard-boiled eggs, strawberries, and tomatoes. And so it cost me 59 cents for that meal. The most expensive meal was $1.50. I had oranges, and I had one of the Sandwich Brothers pitas for breakfast that morning. Now for lunches, the total spent on lunches was $14.63, and that was for 7 full days. The least expensive lunch was $1.23, and that was a chef salad that I made at home, and it had avocados, turkey, hard-boiled egg, and vegetables on it, and including the dressing as well. And the most expensive meal was $2.05, and that not including an eat-out meal. So I had, I don't remember what I ate out at on that day for lunch. It was a Friday, and it was like $5 and something and change. And so I don't want to count that meal because that's an eat-out meal. So an actual like bring to work meal or at home meal, the most expensive was $2.05, and that was chicken salad with crackers and applesauce. So total spent on dinners this week for all 7 days was $21.19. The least expensive day was $1.88. Actually, there was 2 days that happened to be $1.88, and they were completely different meals. One of the meals was chicken tostadas with a side of pinto beans, and I made the pinto beans at home. I did not buy the canned beans, so that's why it was so inexpensive. I had a 2-pound bag of dry pinto beans that I put into the crock pot and let them cook all day, and portioned them out into 1 serving size. And I believe, if I remember right, it's like 10 or 20 cents a serving when you do it that way. And the other meal was a veggie patty with broccoli, and so both of those were only $1.88. The most expensive day was $2.74, and that was for Big Mac Attack. And again, the only reason why that one ended up being a little bit more expensive was because that was eaten by 3 of us in our family, and so it was, and I had a lot of points left for the day, and so I kind of split it up into bigger servings. So I believe that recipe, I said it served 4 people, and normally it's just like a 6 serving, 6 servings is what the recipe normally is, but I just did it to 4 because I had the points and I knew my boys would eat the rest of it, and so that's the reason why it came out a little bit more expensive. So it was $2.74. So those are all my meals for the week. So for groceries, total spent on Weight Watcher food for this last week was $88.47. And like again, my meals then came to $61.49. So it's been a pretty consistent where it's almost everything is eaten. For the bulk of my groceries are produce, as you'll see in my grocery hauls. So total to date for the month of January spent on Weight Watcher food, and this does include the big stock up at the beginning of the month, which was $300-ish, is $488.08. So that is this week's Weight Watchers on a budget. So again, I hope you guys are enjoying these videos, and please let me know down below if there is anything that I'm not saying that may be helpful to you guys, because I can see if I can add it in. If it's something that is easily, you know, found out or accessible. You guys remember I do work all week, and so I've been trying to stay up on putting my meals in every day. That way I don't have to sit down one night, but this week I didn't do that. And so I did have to sit down yesterday, and I spent a couple hours actually putting in all my food. So I do suggest, if you do something like this, that you track it somewhere on a daily basis. I mean, I track my food on a daily basis, but putting it into my spreadsheet. It did take a little bit longer because I didn't do it throughout the week. So I think I need to get myself into a habit, but I believe it's worth it for me to see how much I'm spending and to try to see if I can make cuts anywhere. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week for week number 4 for Weight Watchers on a Budget. Bye guys.